Name 3 celebrity crushes.
Beyonce, Rihanna, and Ellen. Get away from me.
Say the VMAs, it was fantastic, and it was a great performance. And then at the end, you got really emotional, and you started crying.
Said you're running out of time.
Oh my God.
It was just so overwhelming for me, everything. Just the performance. Like, I just wasn't expecting them to support me in the way they did.
And I made him cry.
Well, then that makes 2 of us.
Justin Bieber, he dropped this song. It went over our heads.
Which
it's actually
video?
about P. Diddy this whole time.
Which video?
The song Lonely.
Let me see.
Everybody knows my past now. Like, my house was always made of glass. But maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age.
He even came out and said stuff about how when he was younger, he was being taken advantage of, which is true. The problem was being a victim of the diddler. What happens? Because he has so much dirt on you, if you go out into the public, he may have videos, he may have embarrassing things. He might even have incriminating footage of you doing things that you were forced to under the influence to do.
That's sad.
I did something that really hurt him. I did something very immature and stupid. It damaged the idea of me for you.
Yeah, I think so too.
She went out and did things that hurt me. And so it was just this hurt. She hurt me. And then before tour, we just really stopped talking. I was really upset. And rather than, before that in my previous relationship, I went off and just went crazy and went wild, just was, being reckless. Yeah, I got better. And so she would reach out to people that were like, that we knew. And she would get like you'd hear, right? You'd hear like, oh, he's doing so well. And she would be so pissed off because she's like, he's not doing well without me.
Facts.
Right?
So I get the voice that comes in my head that says that you missed this, that sucked, that sucked. Oh, you get a glimpse of yourself on the screen. Wow, that looks pretty fucking shitty. And then I'm sitting there and I trip over the clothes and I'm like, this is just, like, it sucks the life out of me and I don't want to perform.
Thank you. I'm not really a talker, when I pulled myself out, but I'll say thank you to my family. I want to thank God. I want to thank everyone that believes in me. Last night, for the very first time, you didn't even try to go away. One night, I thought I might die. I couldn't even sleep at all. Maybe I'll get you. My first girlfriend, I took her on at a date.
Right.
And we went, I did the same thing. I rented out the Staples Center.
Okay.
We went up to the top row, watched Titanic on the
big screen?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
What's the biggest surprise you've ever had?
A romantic dinner on a rooftop.
Most uncomfortable moments in relationships don't happen during explosive arguments or public scandals. They happen quietly, subtle gestures, small comments, things that are easy to explain away individually, but much harder to ignore once you start noticing a pattern. And that's exactly why so many people missed what's been happening for years between Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber. Not because nothing happened, but because everything happened just softly enough to stay debatable. And when something is open to interpretation, it gives everyone an exit, an excuse, a reason to look away. But once you connect the dots, it becomes harder to pretend those moments didn't mean something. Stay until the end, because there's one detail in this timeline most people still haven't fully clocked. It all started recently with a TikTok that wasn't supposed to matter until it did. Hailey Bieber was accused of reposting a video that analyzed her own marriage in a way that made a lot of people uncomfortable. The TikToker who made the video presented herself as a psychologist and offered an opinion about long-term celebrity relationships, arguing that many of them survive only because one partner, usually the woman, tolerates far more than she should. The video didn't name Justin directly, but the implication felt clear enough for viewers to immediately connect the dots. What made it explode wasn't just the content, it was the timing. The repost allegedly appeared just days before the Golden Globes, during a week when Justin had new music circulating, and Hailey herself had major public appearances lined up. Then, just as quickly as it appeared, the repost vanished. But not before people screen recorded it, shared it, and began asking the same question. Was this accidental? Or was it a quiet statement? When multiple people say they saw the same thing, it stops feeling like imagination. And when something disappears without explanation, it rarely calms curiosity. It fuels it. Especially when the video itself spoke directly to long-standing narratives people had already been whispering about for years. Not long after, Hailey addressed the situation publicly, posting a short message denying that she had ever reposted any video about her relationship. She dismissed the entire situation as fabricated, wished everyone a nice day, and moved on. On the surface, it sounded definitive, but denials don't always end conversations. Sometimes they restart them. Because here's the part that raised eyebrows. If the repost never happened, why did it spread so quickly? Why did so many people claim they watched it with their own eyes? And why did the situation escalate instead of fading away? Things took a sharper turn when the TikToker behind the video claimed she received a cease and desist letter from attorneys representing Hailey Bieber. According to her, the letter was meant to intimidate her into silence over opinions she believed were legally protected commentary. She argued that having a perspective on celebrity relationships wasn't a crime, and that being offended didn't give anyone the right to erase someone else's voice. Whether you agree with her or not, the optics mattered. An opinion video allegedly reposted, then denied, followed by legal pressure, were all unfolding in the same high-visibility week. To many viewers, it didn't feel random. It felt strategic, or at the very least, reactive. And then came another coincidence. Kendall Jenner, one of Hailey's closest friends, posted a lip-sync video using audio that included harsh language aimed at a woman. No names were mentioned, no context was given. But posted in close proximity to everything else, it didn't go unnoticed. When people within the same circle respond indirectly, it creates a kind of echo, loud enough to hear, quiet enough to deny. The TikToker doubled down, saying she felt pressured to stay quiet and frustrated by what she described as gaslighting. Strong words, sure, but words that resonated with people who already believed power decides which voices get amplified and which get threatened into silence. And that's when many people were reminded that this wasn't the first time Hailey and Justin's relationship had been surrounded by uncomfortable moments that were subtle enough to be dismissed, but frequent enough to form a pattern. Years earlier, during a Vogue photo shoot in early 2019, Justin and Hailey posed together shortly after their legal marriage. During the shoot, Justin adjusted the sleeve of his blazer in a way that briefly revealed a tattoo many fans associate with Selena Gomez. At the time, some brushed it off as coincidence. Others saw it as intentional. Nothing explicit happened, no statement was made. And yet, the moment lingered. That's the thing about symbolism. It doesn't need to be proven to be felt. Especially early in a marriage. When insecurities are still tender, and public perception matters more than anyone wants to admit. Whether Justin meant anything by it or not, the fact that people noticed says everything about how emotionally loaded the situation already was. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Over the years, similar explanations began stacking up. Justin unfollowing Hailey on social media, only to later claim someone else had accessed his account, posts disappearing, comments needing clarification, apologies wrapped in explanations that sounded eerily familiar. Once is an accident, twice is unfortunate. But repetition invites questions. How many coincidences can exist before they stop feeling coincidental? Meanwhile, the public continued to place Selena Gomez under a microscope for doing something entirely different, being quiet. At the Golden Globes, Selena appeared with her partner Benny Blanco. When a photographer asked for a kiss, they shared a brief, understated moment. That single interaction sparked online criticism almost instantly. People labeled them distant, performative, emotionally disconnected. But that interpretation says more about expectations than reality. Selena spent years in intensely public relationships where every emotion was dissected in real time. That kind of exposure changes you. It teaches restraint. It teaches boundaries. Choosing privacy doesn't mean love is missing. Sometimes it means love is protected. We see this all the time with other couples. Leighton Meester and Adam Brody attended the same event with similar composure. No one questioned their relationship. No one demanded more affection. The difference wasn't behavior, it was history. Selena isn't allowed to evolve quietly because the public still expects her to perform vulnerability on demand. What stood out even more that night were Selena's interactions with other artists. Her brief, warm exchanges with Ariana Grande and Miley Cyrus felt natural and unforced. Yet even those moments were scrutinized, labeled distant, or rehearsed by people determined to read tension where none existed. Then came the conversation about her appearance. Selena appeared more natural, softer, closer to the version people remembered from earlier in her career. Many praised it. Others speculated endlessly. But unlike most celebrities, Selena has been unusually open about what she has and hasn't done cosmetically. She's addressed Botox, she's acknowledged experimentation, she hasn't pretended perfection happened overnight. And that honesty matters, especially when compared to an industry built on denial. What made things even more complicated was Justin's own past admissions. In a public post, he once acknowledged starting heavy substance use at a young age, admitting that he mistreated people, became resentful, disrespectful, and angry. Those weren't accusations. They were his own words. So when people reference them, it isn't defamation, it's memory. And memory becomes inconvenient when it doesn't align with the image someone wants to project now. That's why the Vogue cover moment still unsettles so many people. Justin once joked publicly about telling Hailey she'd never make the cover of Vogue, only to later celebrate her when she did. Some heard humor, others heard resentment. Tone matters, context matters. And when history exists, and words don't land in a vacuum, being around someone who admits to resentment and anger can be frightening, even if they've changed. Growth doesn't erase impact. Healing doesn't rewrite the past. And symbolic gestures, real or imagined, don't undo emotional memory. This is why the TikTok controversy struck such a nerve. It wasn't just about a repost. It was about years of quiet discomfort suddenly being named out loud. And when something unnamed finally gets language, it becomes dangerous to people who benefit from silence. Disagreement isn't defamation, commentary isn't criminal, and opinions don't become illegal just because they make powerful people uncomfortable. But intimidation has a way of teaching people to self-censor anyway. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway here, not whether the repost happened, not whether the sleeve adjustment meant anything, not whether every coincidence was intentional, but how quickly narratives are shut down when they challenge the image someone wants preserved. Justin, Hailey, and Selena have all chosen very different ways of navigating public life. Selena stepped back. Justin oscillates between vulnerability and retreat. Hailey often finds herself in the center of controversy, whether she intends to or not. And through it all, the public is left piecing together meaning from fragments. Nothing here proves a single dramatic conclusion, but patterns don't need proof to exist. They just need repetition. So the question isn't who's right or wrong, it's what we're being asked to ignore, and why certain conversations are allowed until they aren't. Because once you start noticing how often subtle discomfort gets explained away, it becomes impossible not to notice when it happens again. And recently, the symbolism and quiet messages coming from all sides have only intensified. But that's a story for the next video.